session at 6:03. And there was no action to report in closed session. With that, we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Miller, 7th grade student Lilia May.
This meeting is being transcribed and summarized.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lilia Gelman. I'm a 7th grader at Miller Elementary. And now everyone stand up, place your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And that brings us to recognition of the inclusion journey. Rosemary Napoleon, AB SELPA Director.
Okay, thank you so much. Good evening, Lancaster School District Board, Executive Cabinet, staff, and community. My name is Rosemary Napoleon. I am the Antelope Valley SELPA Program Administrator. I come tonight to celebrate all of you and your hard work for the students with disabilities in the Lancaster School District. Over the past several years, Lancaster School District has engaged in a deliberate and strategic shift toward inclusive practices for students with disabilities. The journey has been about not implementing a single program. It has been about aligning beliefs, systems, and instructional models. In 2018 to 2019, only 43% of students with disabilities were in general education 80% or more of the school day. Research consistently shows that increased time in general education correlates with improvement in academic outcomes for students with disabilities. The special education department back then, that included Beverly Shoemaker, Christine Boulay, Myra Nunez, Angie Science Valencia, and Rachel Holmes, grounded this work in 4 beliefs. It's the special education department believed that all students were general education students first. Special education is a service, not a place. We are part of multi-tier systems of support, and all means all. Lancaster School District transitioned away from segregated special day models in some of the targeted schools. And in this, they opened learning centers, provided specialized academic instruction in a push-in model, co-teaching model, and tiered academic and behavior systems. Lancaster School District began with pilot schools, including Nancy Corey Elementary, where inclusion increased by 9.3% the first year, with a commitment of their leader, David Denning. At Sunnydale, the district, with the leadership of Dr. Wood, closed all mild moderate special day classes and implemented learning centers. This allowed all students to return to their home schools, which is what their goal is. Sierra Elementary, with the vision of Rebecca McConnell, transferred specialized academic instruction by becoming one of our first full inclusion elementary schools. All students began their education in general education. They launched learning, and they launched the Social Emotional Learning Center to support the whole child, fostering a sense of belonging. Dr. Fountain was also committed to the Lancaster School District's earliest learners. Beginning in 2023, the district committed to inclusive entry points in transitional kindergarten, and preschool. Inclusion was not the goal, but the starting point. An open and honest, focused dialogue focused on student needs was established with Gina Whipple, the TEL president. She never hesitated to call or email to support teachers in how inclusion works in our schools. Throughout this process, conversations remained student-centered, and the district strategic plan, under the leadership of Dr. Marietti, continued to guide Lancaster toward equity and inclusion. And your work continues with Ed Services, implementing learning centers district-wide. And these include departments such as curriculum and instruction, climate and culture with Kim Cochran, curriculum with Krista Thompson, multilingual learners with Cindy Queen, equity with Alicia Casey, even the LCAP with Dr. Wood, and of course their leader, Bart Hoffman. Over the past several years, inclusion rates define as students are spending more time in 80% or more. In 2019, it was 43%, and within 5 years, it rose up to 68%. The growth represents real access, opportunity, and real belonging for students. The academic results are equally encouraging, as in 2025, which I was so proud to see your test results. 64% of students with disability improved in English language arts, 59% improved in mathematics. Students with disabilities were no longer in the red on the California dashboard, and the district has exited students with disabilities in differentiated assistance, which is probably the only district comparable to you in the Antelope Valley who has done this. These outcomes are not accidental. They align with statewide research, showing that when students with disabilities have access to general education, measurable outcome growth follows. While we celebrate the progress, the work continues. The data reflects goals, the growth, but Lancaster School District's commitment goes beyond numbers. Your work ensures that every student belongs, has access to rigorous instruction, receives appropriate support, and achieves measurable outcomes. And the Lancaster School District has demonstrated this, that when barriers are removed, students rise. As your AV SUPA director, I thank you for your leadership and this important work that you continue to do. Congratulations.
Thank you very much for recognizing our district for all the hard work in this area. And we want to congratulate all the teachers and staff and school personnel that are helping to bring this about. So great job. It's great to see those results. Next, we have our enrollment group.
Yes. Total UTK through 8th grade, 13,601. Early learning department, non-UTK 351, or total of 13,952 students, which is a gain of 43 from our last board report. Out of that 13,952, we've got 1,195 homeless, 101 foster, and 725 related to armed forces.
Thank you. Thank you. Next, we have our curriculum highlights with Miller School. Miller staff and students.
Thank you so much for having us, trustees and members of cabinet, as well as members visiting us tonight. We are happy to be here. And with us, I have brought Mr. Murcia and his fabulous choir. I know that everyone is here for the kids, and I will share some words with us after, but we are here for you guys. You're the reason we all want to be here. They are a little nervous, but well prepared, and they have some wonderful presentations for you. And to Mr. Garcia, who's a fantastic music teacher. We are so grateful to have his wonderful artistic abilities at our school. So what I want to just briefly talk, I promise I know we have a short period of time, so I won't talk long, but I do just want to briefly touch on just the magic of the K-8 experience. And so I was blessed to get to enter into Miller its first year going full K-8 and adding that 8th grade year. It had been a long time since I'd had the middle school students, way back to my years at Paiute. So I did have to do a little adapting back into remembering what adolescents were like in those 6th through 8th grade years. But as I'm readjusting, I am remembering how much I love those years and how much I enjoy working with our middle school students. And when you go and click. Yes. Sorry, we just have the wrong presentation. Sorry. So the K-8 experience, and I know Dr. Marietti has helped lead this charge in our district, but it truly is magical. And most of you know that not only am I a leader and a principal in our district, but I'm also a parent of students in our district. And I have gotten the opportunity to bring my students, my personal children with me, and I have a little one that's experiencing the elementary wonderful experience at Miller, and I have one that'll be getting ready to go into our middle school experience. And what you'll find at the K-8 experience is stability and continuity for our families. They don't have to switch from the teachers, the staff, the environment, culture that they know. They don't have to take their students to 2 different schools. It's a family. From the time the students are in kindergarten to the time they're in 8th grade, it's the same office lady that helps them with their attendance concerns. It's the same 3rd grade teacher that greets them at the gate in the morning. It's the same campus supervisor that takes their concerned phone calls when a bruise comes unexpected at home. And that family carries through from the child's experience in kindergarten through 8th grade. And we do have so many students who've been at Miller all the way from kindergarten to 8th grade, and it truly is that family experience. those family connections and engagement, the relationships that are built between the staff and the families are phenomenal because we carry our students with us for year after year after year. In addition, we have enhanced leadership opportunities for our students. One of the most precious moments that you'll see is a 7th grade student bending over and tying the shoe of a 1st grade student as you walk along our campus. And it's just so wonderful to see how our ASB students will plan a October Fall Festival or a Valentine's Day treat for the little ones during recess or lunch, because they want to plan those fun activities for the little ones on our campus. And what we're seeing is improved behavior and school climate. So at Miller, our goal is to build an art and media academy. And so just where we're at right now, struggling with this clicker. All right, so we've dabbled in the visual arts. We have some teachers that are working with that. We work predominantly with Luna Arts and Ed to work on the visual arts component. We use watercolor pencils, clay, pastels, and we start that work in kindergarten, integrated with the curriculum in our social emotional learning curriculum. We use a lot of different mediums from the time the kids are young, and our goal is that by the time our students make it to 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, where they actually have a designated art period with our full-time art teacher, they've established some of those visual arts skills so that their experience in the art class in the middle school years is enhanced because they've established those skills and they're bringing them with them to that art class in middle school. So you can see the little clay, we'll do modeling. We also offer a dance program through Dance Moves, which is a program that I launched when I was at Sierra, when we contracted with the local dance studio with the help of ELOP and working that program. We brought that over to Miller as well. And we are lucky enough to have the assistance of ELOP, who is an amazing support with this program. And so we have the opportunity for students to take professional dance classes after school, free of charge. And so they can experience that, as well as our full-time music teacher, who you got to see. And so that begs the question, what is next? And our next adventure is we are working with Lancaster High School to have a program that matriculates to the high school in the media arts. And so we'll be working with Lancaster to identify some base level skills that our students can carry with them when they matriculate to Lancaster High School that will help set them up for success in their media arts program in the high school. And so Alicia Casey has been working closely with that, and we are looking forward to enhancing our art and media program and adding the media arts component next year.
Thank you very much, and don't go too far. We have some awards or prizes for the students that participated this evening. So if they could come back up to the front. Easy to Okay, thank you again, Miller, for sharing with us your vision for your school. And it's neat to see all the programs that you're planning and implementing over there. And thank you very much. And we really appreciate that. And again, great job with the choir. You guys did fantastic. That brings us to our next presentation, school counseling program highlights.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having us here this evening. We are super excited for our counselors and for our coordinator of mental health services, Mrs. Trish Wilson, to present to you the highlights of the work of our counseling program. Mrs. Wilson.
Good evening. I'm Trish Wilson. I'm the coordinator of mental health for the Lancaster School District, and I am privileged to oversee the counseling program in our district. Tonight, we are going to be sharing the important work that our counselors do. And before we start the presentation, I would just like to recognize the counselors. If you could stand up. In February, and I just want to recognize the hard work that they do and the professionals that we have as our school counselors. So thank you. I would like to introduce Christian Livers to start off the presentation.
Thank you so much, Trish. All right. So, good evening, President, board members, superintendent, and the members of our community. My name is Christian Livers, and I'm the school counselor at Jack Northrop, and I am honored to speak on behalf of our school counseling department. Before I talk about what we do, I want to begin with a moment of gratitude. First week of February was National School Counseling Week, and across our district, counselors felt genuinely seen and appreciated. I was reminded that the work we do is not done in isolation. It's done alongside incredible educators and staff who show up for students every single day. District-wide, our counseling department is made up of 33 school counselors and one counselor on special assignment who focuses on attendance. All school counselors hold a master's degree in the Pupil Personnel Services credential, reflecting the level of training required to support students' academics, social-emotional, and post-secondary success. Currently, our school district student to counselor ratio is 426 students to one counselor. Despite this, our counselors provide comprehensive support across Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 services, from classroom lessons and prevention work to small groups, crisis response, and individualized student support. As many of you know, our district serves the highest concentration of foster youth in the state of California. Because of this, our foster youth receive targeted and intentional support from our school counselors who work to ensure stability, advocacy, and access to resources, often serving as one of the most consistent adults in the student's life.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Jessica Veliz, and I'm the school counselor at Linda Verde. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what our program is. So Lancaster School District, as a counselor, I can say it's a great place to work because we don't just simply show up to work as counselors and kind of let the day take us as it may every single day. We have what is a program. And so program is intentional and it is data driven. We follow ASCA, which is the American School Counseling Association. That is our kind of like our governing board. It sets the golden standard. And so what this program highlighted, the four spokes are define, manage, deliver, and assess. So define, what is a school counseling program? We have 3 pillars, which all school programs kind of align themselves to, which is based off student achievement, student achievement, student achievement, college and career readiness, and social and emotional development of a student. And then we go into the manage, which is actually the meat of what a program is. And so we use data. We have several data points that we look at. We look at like the school site plan, which every site develops. We use the LCAP. We use even our office discipline referrals. We look at that data, the ODRs put into SIS. We attendance in Power School. So we sift through all of the data before the school year even commences to manage a program and say what we're going to deliver. We create a goal that that aligns with the school district and also with our sites. So we see that demonstrated is in our annual goal. 10 sites within our district have a goal that is based off of attendance, which we see a lot of PSA has a huge goal, and a lot of effort and time goes into improving school attendance and decreasing chronic absenteeism. And so we use a lot of we have classroom lesson plans, we have an annual calendar before the school year even starts that we develop so that we kind of have a guiding light that is driven by data. And then lastly, we are delivering our student services, which we'll talk about in the next slide, and we are assessing our program always. What is working, what is not. We do that through pre and post assessments in almost every single service that we implement. And why do we use ASCA? Because we like research, we like evidence. Research shows that school programs that align themselves to the ASCA national model have student improvement in attendance, achievement, and discipline, which is something that we all want for our students. Thank you.
Thank you. Discussing the framework of the work that we do as school counselors. So in addition to what Jessica just mentioned, something that we do as school counselors and the role as school counselors is we use this multi-tier system support framework to ensure that the students are being provided with and necessary support to improve their academic, social, emotional behavior, and college career development. And so when we look at tier 1 systems, we're looking at how do we serve 100% of our students. We look at specific interventions and incentives that support our students to continue improving. So when we look at tier 1, example of the way that we deliver and support our students at school is we're looking specifically at teaching our counseling curriculum, something that we collaborate as counselors. We have community counselors that work on that to ensure that we have the necessary teachings that the students need. We also look at taking initiative on school events. So a lot of school events that you may see around the school district, a counselor may have been involved in developing that, making sure they're part of it. I just think of one of my favorite ones that I did with my school. And sorry, I forgot to introduce myself. Again, I'm Michael Ishkot. I'm school counselor at Rice. We did a hip hop and living awards, right? So we had an event where we try to engage our student community, whether it's parents, caregivers, or even our local organizations to support us and helping us advocate for our students. So when we look at the tier 1 system, we look at how do we provide support for all students, but we recognize that not all students might benefit from that level 1 foundation. So we also look at tier 2 targeted supports, where we start now focusing on about 15 to 20% of our student population on priorities that our school needs, priorities that our schools need to focus on in order to improve more student outcomes. So when we're looking at tier 2 services, now we're looking at providing individual counseling, group counseling, crisis response. There have been a lot of situations that happen throughout the year. You'll usually see a group of counselors there supporting school communities. And in addition to that, we're also looking to make sure we're supporting a number of our foster youth and McKinley mental students to ensure that they're also not falling through the cracks and also getting that additional advocate to support them. So when we look at the final level of system of support, which is our tier 2 individualized system, at this level, we start focusing on about 5% of our student population. So students with more targeted, more intensive support. And at this level, we're focusing now more on collaborating and consulting with various stakeholders to ensure that students are being supported. And so as school counselors, some of the work that we do is we ensure that we're being involved in a lot of school committees, whether it's PBIS teams, student study teams, what have you, right? The various school committees to ensure that we're driving the work that we do as school counselors. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass this on to my colleague Alex, or Mr. Alejandro, who can go ahead and explain it.
My name is Alejandro Gonzalez. I'm the school counselor at Mariposa Computer Science Magnet School. Also having trouble with the slides. We just want to provide our mid-year highlight, which is pretty much a snapshot of our district-wide data. So as you can see, our counselors and the ones behind me have completed 1,725 classroom lessons ranging on topics such as suicide prevention, Kelso's Choices, which is our conflict management curriculum, bullying prevention, attendance, which like one of my colleagues behind me mentioned is a big focus for all of us, making sure our kids are in school and being able to better themselves and be able to productive members of the community, and also academic perseverance, teaching students to not back down from the challenge and the challenges that they face not only in the classroom but in the community, being able to persevere and rise through those. Additionally, across the district, we completed 71 counseling groups that focus on self-regulation, attendance, like I said, which is a big focus across the district, social skills and executive functioning, just trying to provide the students with the necessary skills to succeed, not only as students, which we see them as, but also as the people that they're going to grow up to be and are becoming, focusing on the whole person and being able to directly target the social emotional needs of every student here. And then additionally, we also deal with the handful of suicide assessments, mental health referrals, making sure that when students are in need of additional support that may be outside of our range, they are seeking that, and we are finding that those completing those referrals so that the students are able to get the help that they need, and like I said, being able to target and support the whole person. And then finally, our counselors support through other things such as developing behavior contracts, behavior intervention plans, as well as incentive charts. And then just kind of speaking for my colleagues behind me also, being able to be that consistent, that empathetic, the consistent empathetic and guiding force on the school campus. So our work goes a lot beyond just the data we're able to show you, but being that person on campus that's something they can turn to and support. When they need an ear, when they need some support, when they feel like everybody on campus or even at home or in the community are not giving them that time and space, just being able to show up for that person and tell them, I'm on your side, let's work through that, and acknowledging that students aren't in their final product, they're not their truest form yet, but doing what we can in the time we have them so that we can get them there.
We have a short video that we'd like to show you.
The school The school counselor lets us learn big problems and small problems.
Helps people like communicate with other people, like tells us choices. Teach us how to make better choices.
Miss Melina is the school counselor, and she does counselor's choices and helps you get through school problems. Good guys. So go in rooms and tell us their faces and stuff. And then help us with doing the right and stuff, and then making us do good stuff.
Help like people, like just kids, girls and boys with stress and letting go.
Make us feel safe at the school and let us talk about anything that's on our mind.
Is when a student needs help or they're going through something, the counselors are there to help them, and they give them ideas on how to relax, and they help students.
Help us learn, do things right, and be respectful. Our counselors deliver a variety of Tier 1 MTSS practices. One of these practices is planning and engaging students in school-wide activities and events to recognize Kindness Week, Bullying Prevention Month, and Attendance Awareness Month. Our counselors also deliver classroom lessons throughout the year that are uniform across the district. Some topics include how to maintain excellent attendance, self-control, suicide prevention lessons, conflict resolution skills, bullying prevention, and behavior responsibility and accountability. This is a Tier 1 MTSS practice because all the students in the school receive these lessons. One of the other ways our counselors support students is by offering lunch bunch groups, where students can come to the counseling office during their lunchtime and play games and take part in activities that encourage social skills and create a positive school climate. Family engagement is another area of emphasis for our counselors. Our counselors deliver parent trainings on topics such as how to implement counselors' choices, which focuses on how to solve problems in the home environment, the importance of attendance, and the benefits of our school-based mental health resources. College and career readiness is an important part of our counselors' work. They assist students with exploring career and vocational options while planning college visits. It is never too early to plan for the future. Small group counseling is a Tier 2 intervention that our counselors provide to some of our students. The small group counseling can focus on topics such as anger management, how to develop healthy friendships, and executive functioning skills. Our counselors are able to assess the effectiveness of the groups by using pre- and post data. Attendance is an area that spans across all tiers of intervention. Our counselors are integral parts of the attendance teams on the school campuses. They help to look at overall students' attendance and trends at Tier 1, focus on group of students who are struggling with attendance at Tier 2, and work intensively with students who need individualized attendance support at Tier 3.
In my anger management group, I learned when somebody's calling me names to ignore it, and when somebody's hitting me to go tell an adult.
I was in the girls group and it taught me to have a good relationship with my friends.
I was in girls group and I learned how to be kind.
Hi, I'm in the attendance group and staying in school helped me play more sports and do more activities.
Hi, I'm in the attendance group, and what I learned from being in it is to be on time.
I was in a group with Miss Selena, and I learned that how to treat people the way they want to be treated, and to participate in things. And I had a lot of fun in it. My counselor taught me to be respectful and nice. My counselor taught me to use kindness. My counselor taught me how to use counselor's choices. My counselor taught me how to be so many nice words and show me respect. My school counselor been teaching me a lot of stuff. What she has been teaching me is to be kind and to be respectful.
In group counseling, I learned what a healthy friendship looks like and set boundaries and how to problem solve when I have a problem with my friends.
Whenever you're feeling sad, you can go to them and they'll help you while playing a game.
I participated in an emotions controlling group and I learned how to control your emotions and walk away when someone does something to irritate you.
I learned from my counselor to not bully people. I learned from my counselor to use counselor choices.
I learned from my school counselor how to stay calm.
So what is it something you always wanted to do but was too afraid to try? Go roller coaster. Oh, that's a good one.
Thank you for inviting us to share all the practices and interventions we provide our students and families. We appreciate your support.
And that concludes our presentation. Are there any questions?
I do, not a question, but thank you. Suicide prevention in your schools is fantastic. We have not had any that I ever think of, and I hope we don't. And I think it's because the counselors bring that up to the students and let them know that there's someone there for them. So thank you all very much.
Question. I noticed about the ratio that you have between your students and 426 students. It's a lot of students. So you see how you break down a lot of the programs that you're working with, but how do you really navigate with that amount of students?
it's a challenge. Some of the schools have 2 counselors, and some of the schools have 1 counselor. So there are sites that have 700 students with 1 counselor, and they work really hard. They're running all day long, but they work hard to provide the basic supports to the students and to make themselves available. Certainly, we're able to cover more ground when we have multiple counselors on a site, but we are very unique because there's a lot of elementary school counselor or elementary districts that don't even have school counselors in elementary school. And we're lucky enough to have at least 1 in every elementary school. So, but we're always looking to add more. So. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for all you do. I know when we started out, we had counselors that would work with several schools, and it was our goal to get at least 1 counselor at each school. So I'm really glad that we've reached that goal, and we really support you in all your work. And we know you with a lot of students, and you're very essential in helping them and helping the teachers and the staff at this school. So thank you. Hats off to everything you do. It's fantastic work. Next, that brings us to our LCAP mid-year review. For Melissa Wood.
Good evening. I can certainly say that 1 school in particular decreased suspensions due to their 2 counselors. Thank you, guys. Sure, that's the same everywhere. All right, thank you for having me up here today. Board, Executive Cabinet, tonight is the Local Control Accountability Plan mid-year review. Today's plan or evaluation of the mid-year rather is not something that we turn into LACO. It's not something that we turn into the CD. It's just simply a snapshot of where we are at the mid-year point and where we're going. So the mid-year review, it provides a mid-year progress update on the LCAP. It shares early outcome trends. It reviews the alignment of expenditures to goals, and it identifies focus areas for the second half of the school year. Included in your artifacts is the budget overview for parents. You can see that in the LCAP, $245 million was allotted for us to reach our goals. And you also have another artifact called the mid-year review. That is a template that was actually given to us by LACO. We're not required to have any template in particular, but Anita over at LACO, who supports us with the LCAP, she created this for us, and why not use it? As you can see here, you have the full document, but this is a sample for how to read it. So as you can see here, if you look at a 1, that stands for goal 1, 1.5 is goal 1, and it's the 5th action. I chose the 5th action because it's a good example of everything that is involved with this template. So essentially what the mid-year requires is that we look at the LCAP, each one of the goals and all the actions within, and how we're doing with the metrics to measure the effectiveness of those actions and how much money we have currently put towards those actions. So back to 1.5, that's goal 1, action number 5 of several actions. Action number 5 is focused on intervention, where it says yes or no. Is LCAP funds going towards that particular action? The answer is yes, at a district-wide level. We're focused on English learners, foster youth, and low income in this particular action for all schools. And then you'll take a look and you'll see the metrics that we are using to check the effectiveness of our action. So here you'll see CASP and you'll see iReady and the different subgroups that we are looking at for this particular action. You'll notice that it says determined, partially determined, and we also have not yet determined. And what that simply means is the metric finalized? So yes, we got the California dashboard, we have the results. So it is already determined that for the first subgroup right there, you'll see is 98.4 points below standard. That has been determined by this dashboard this year. Although with the iReady, that's different. It's partially determined because we're still measuring throughout the year, and their final comes at the end of the year, which at the end on the actual LCAP, we'll be able to give you an end of year review there. So that one is still going, and as of today, you'll see the practically $22 million there. That $22 million is how much money we have spent since December 2nd. So this is a point in time because we have to stop it at some point in time. That's the last posting of the first interim report that Maria gave for our expenditures for action number 5. This is also a point in time in our implementation and metrics. So first semester is where we drew the line for our metrics within our implementation. So our mid-year snapshot is obviously with all of this data, you can have so much analysis done and have so many conclusions or wonderings from all the data. I'm just giving you the highlights tonight of some of the things that the directors and I have had conversations surrounding this information. So most LCAP actions are still in mid-year implementation. $97.7 million of $245 million budgeted has been expended. Chronic absenteeism still persists. Suspension rates are showing that they are stable, but achievement gaps still continue. It is interesting that LACO had a differentiated assistance convening. So school districts that have at-risk groups got together, and LACO supported us in looking at our actions and whether or not we have been effective in our implementation of those actions. So the directors discussed everything that you're about to see, and we had conversations on where we need to pivot. We also have had conversations on maybe how our goals should be read next year and the more appropriate or continuously improving our metrics for the future, and what should we be looking at next year. We particularly like the style that the state has chosen. Remember the 5x5 table, and you go all the way to the right if you gain 15 points. So we're celebrating growth. We're not just trying to meet what seems like an impossible benchmark. And so we're going to take a look at our LCAP metrics and see, can we really focus on target growth rather than just focusing on whether or not a student is exceeding proficiency at the state standard level. These are the conversations we're having as a result of this mid-year review. So LCAP 1 is focused on academics. Next slide. Its key findings is that year over year, we're showing improvement. That was obvious in our dashboard results. We improved in most of the categories, and in ELA, we scored a yellow, which means that we're doing better than last year. We actually did orange in math, and because it was all the way over on the 5x5 table, that showed an improvement as well. iReady is indicating partial progress at 2 to 12%. One of the concerns that we have about this metric is that is, at the mid-year anyway, how many students have already met the grade level standard, not where they are at the mid-year standard, but because that's the way we report it in the LCAP, that's the way you see it at the mid-year. So we're having conversations about that. And of course, as you know, mid-year or literacy requires acceleration, and something very fascinating in every single convening that we are having, every single conference that we are having, there is a stress on getting to know our kids from birth. School districts that find our kids and get to know the families from birth are having better success at kindergarten literacy. And I'm sure Kelly Fountain would love that comment that I just made. Mid-year expenditures are at 62.9 million. And then with LCAP Goal 2, we are focused on equitable learning practices and positive learning environments. Next slide. We are seeing through the youth that elementary engagement is improving. We're seeing that middle school belonging still remains low, so that's a focus. And we are seeing that our suspension rates are stable overall. Thank you, counselors, which are not here. The mid-year expenditures, 10.5 million. LCAP Goal 3 is about safe and supportive environments. And some of our key findings is that attendance rates remain above 91%. Chronic absenteeism persists for priority groups that are at risk, and safety perceptions are moderate at our middle schools. The perception is actually better at our elementary schools. So our mid-year expenditures is 20.8. I'd also like to say that the Youth Truth is measuring from a parent's perspective, a student's perspective, and a staff perspective. So Goal 4 is a little different than our first three goals. Goal 4 focuses on equity multiplier, which is actually not a district implementation. It's a site-specific implementation. And in order to be part of your equity multiplier funds, in order to qualify for that, you have to have a school who has 25% or more transient rate. So the kids that start the beginning of the school year, 25% of them are not the same kids that finish the school year. And because of that, they get massive amounts of money. But what's awesome about that money is that they don't have a timeline for spending that money. And so what we've noticed is that we can have multiple year plans that our director of equity has been helping the principals on. So those schools that qualified for that funding source was Desert View, New Vista Middle School, Paiute, and Rise. Goal 4 focuses on culture and climate, and a lot of that work is coming out of PBIS and capturing kids' hearts, but not the work that we already have in place. Equity multiplier requires that you're building upon or expanding your current program or initiating new programs. So our work is being done with the principals, the instructional leadership teams, and our director of equity. I'm involved quite a bit. Sam is involved quite a bit, community schools. But the big work is between the principals and Alicia. So we have targeted leadership. We have identified schools, and they're in their mid-implementation as far as climate and culture, with trying to make improvements on creating a climate and culture that kids that have high transient rates can feel like they belong in that school. Mid-year expenditures come out at 4.7 million. Goal 5 is very similar to Goal 4, except it focuses on academic achievement. Slide. Goal 5, the key findings is, again, site-specific academic interventions. Now, we have a robust Goal 1 for academics within the LCAP. So this has proven a little more challenging because remember, the focus of equity multiplier is to create new implementations or expand upon the ones you already have. But they're hard at work, and a lot of the focus that is in inclusive practices that Rosemary's talked about earlier, our director of SELPA and the region. They're in the early implementation stage with this at 1.4 million. those schools, you can see that's about 25% of what they're spending on culture and climate. Looking forward from here on out, we know that we need to prioritize achievement gaps in early literacy. We know we need to focus on middle school engagement. We know we need to continue to focus on chronic absenteeism. We also know that the point of this mid-year LCAP is so Ed Services understands their budget better and ensures that the effectiveness of the programs that we implement is money well spent. Dr. Marietti has focused more than any superintendent I've ever known on the principal knowing their budget, on the director knowing their budget. And LACO has tasked us with the goal of being within 10% of what we plan and budget. So that way we can have tighter funds and be able to monitor for effectiveness more efficiently. They also said that school districts who are in their early implementation phases of trying to be within 10%, within 20% is an acceptable range, 15% is within acceptable range, but 10% is the target. So for every $1,000 that a principal gets, they should be within $900 to $1,100 in hitting the target on what they plan to spend that money on. They're all here today and they're hearing that, and I'm sure they'll tell you their plans are about 40 pages long now, that they are really honing in on all the dollars they're spending. That's all I have for you tonight. Are there any questions? Yeah.
So does part of our LCAP include one-time funding? And then if so, how are we planning on investing that as that used up?
So it's interesting because we might have said in the LCAP that we were going to put, let's say, $1 million towards something, but one-time funding comes in and it might be a more desirable fund to take it out of. So some of the times we're not on 10%, it's because these one-time funds come to us and they're more desirable to spend up front. The one-time funds are not a part of the LCAP. What's a part of the LCAP is the LCFF funds, which is our SC, our supplemental and concentration grants, which are ongoing, depending on enrollment and need, and also our base funds, which is a part of that LCFF. Equity multiplier is dependent, that could be a one-time fund, depending on if the school qualifies with the transient rate. We find out this month who qualifies for next year. Also, CSI funds are a part of that, which is whether or not a school qualifies for that. And I'm happy to say that there's only one school in the school district that's going to qualify for $650,000. Sad, we're down from 2.1 million, but it's for a good reason. So no other one-time funds. Those are the sources that are part of the LCAP.
Thank you for the update. Yeah, sounds like you guys are right on target.
We're good. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next, that brings us to individual action items for approval of vote for candidates for the 2026 CSBA Delegate Assembly. Candidates listed are Miles, Lancaster School District, Lee Bookman from Eastside Union School District, Steve DiMarzio from Westside Union School District. We have a motion by Mr. Nguyen, by Ms. Starlson. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Oh, it's a good team. We have a good group of people. We've all been on the
It's a little while. Or so. I may have said it. So far, so good. Keep it posted.
For serving in that capacity. We appreciate that. Next, we have individual action items, business. Adoption of board resolution 2025-2631, taking CE findings and approving a historical center, the modernization and new construction project, Monta Vista Elementary. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item B, adoption of resolution number 2025-2632, establishing a merged citizens oversight committee for bonds issued under Measure L and Measure LS. Motion. By Ms. Charleston. By Mr. Giles. Discussion.
I get a reading on that. What this means exactly?
Yeah, this is the requirement by the state when you have a bond, and we have to have a bond committee. And this is to set up that bond committee meeting, which is going to be by the middle of March. Bond committee goes over to make sure that we're spending the money the way it's supposed to be. And there's an audit that goes with it.
We have any takers as yet?
Yes, we have a committee. With that, all in favor? Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item C, adoption of board resolution 2025-2633, making CEQA findings and approving a categorical exemption for modernization and new construction project at Lincoln Elementary School. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item D, approval of amendment number 1 to agreement with Llewellyn and Moody for architectural and engineering services for Sunnydale Elementary School modernization of 2 existing kindergarten classrooms. By Mr. Giles. And by Ms. Leifler. Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item E, approval of amendment number 1 to the agreement with Llewellyn and Moody Architectural and Engineering Services for Desert View Elementary School modernization. We have a motion. Second by Ms. Leifler, second by Mr. Giles. Any discussion?
How many architectural services did we have bid on this?
And this is the one.
These actually.
All three of these are the same. They came to CFW as part of our modernization program. And this is a requirement by DSA for any minor changes that we make in this low voltage is an increase of $1,000 for the Sunnydale because it's only the 2 existing classrooms, and the others are $2,500 apiece, and that's for the entire projects for each of those.
Question was though, is Llewellyn and Moody the only
For this,
architects bid on these?
the bid on, well, I can get you the information, but that would be through CFW.
These two.
I will do.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item number F, approval of amendment number 1 to the agreement with Llewellyn and Moody for architectural and engineering services for Nancy Corey modernization. Construction. Do we have a motion? Motion by Ms. Charleston. Second by Mr. Giles. Any discussion?
Favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Okay, item 15, individual action items, human resources. 15A, approval of Director 1 of Information Technology Systems.
Casey Gruel.
C. Gruel. You have a motion? Giles, second by Mr. Nguyen. Any discussion?
Casey has over 20 years of professional experience across technology, industry, and the educational field. He currently serves as a network systems analyst for the Lancaster School District. He holds a bachelor's degree in network operations and security, a master's of business administration, and a master's degree in IT management. In addition, he maintains multiple certifications in networking, cybersecurity, and project management. He is most proud of his commitment to his continuing education and professional growth. In his free time, he enjoys working with stained glass, building furniture, and restoring classic diesels.
Good evening. For the opportunity. Excited to be part of the team.
Very nice. With that, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Congratulations.
It's a password.
Either diesels work on, we know where to go now.
Yeah.
Stained glass. Welcome. Thank you very much for all your service, and we look forward to continuing your work with the Lancaster District. And next we have item B, appointment of interim principal Todd Parker. We have a motion. Second. Mr. Giles. Any discussion?
Todd is an assistant principal at Endeavor right now, but we need to fill a staffing need. So it's going to step up.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations. And next we have item C, approval of supervisor of operations. Mr. Riley, do we have a motion? Moved by Mr. Wayne. Second by Ms. Usler. Any discussion?
Yes. Christina's been a Lancaster School District employee since September 1st, 1998, when she began her career as a health clerk at Mariposa Elementary School, then served as the attendance clerk, then promoted to the school secretary at Linda Verde. And for the past 7 years, she's worked at the district level as an administrative secretary 3, where she brings extensive experience and dedication to her role. She's completed an associate's degree in business from Eastern Gateway Community College and holds several professional certificates from CSEA, earned through her role as chapter president. She is proud of being a mom, Gigi, that's a grandma, right? And a wife. And she's very passionate about being the Gigi and a devoted dog mom. She loves yoga, the beach, and truly values spending quality time with her family and close friends. She's with us tonight.
And with that, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Congratulations.
Thanks, Greg.
I would just like to say that I'm honored and I look really forward to working with Uncle Wanda Center and the community, and I'm excited. They are a great team, and I'm work with them and serve our community. I have my husband, my beautiful daughters, my granddaughter, my mother-in-law, and my great family that I have that are here to support me. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and we welcome you in your new position. We look forward to all your help with that. Thank you so much. Next, we have approval of Expanded Learning Opportunities Program Supervisor, Julie Malkus. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
By Mr. Nguyen.
Second.
By Mr. Giles. Any discussion?
Yes, unfortunately, Julie's not here with us tonight. She is fulfilling her contract with her other employer, but she is online and listening or watching. So Julie received her BA in child development from CSUN in 1998 and has worked in education ever since, aside from a short break to raise her children. She has spent the past 15 years with Gorman Learning Network Charter, where she served as a supervisor at the Santa Clarita Resource Center. One of her greatest professional accomplishments is the work she has done in building and supporting a K-12 learning environment, allowing the unique opportunity to watch students grow and develop throughout their entire educational journey. Outside of her career, Julie is extremely proud of the life she's built with her husband of 32 years and the compassionate children they have raised together. In her free time, she enjoys baking, reading at the beach, and spending quality time with the family.
With that, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Congratulations, Julie. Next, we have addressing the board. Any individuals who wish to address the board may complete a speaker card and present it in a supporting document. The superintendent's assistant or other district official prior to the start of the meeting. Personal information such as a student, parent, guardian's name, address, phone number, date of birth, email, other directory information as defined in Ed Code 49061 may be excluded from the minutes of the meeting by submitting a written request to superintendent. Board president shall recognize individuals who wish to speak. Individuals wishing to present testimony to the board concerning specific items on the agenda may do so once that item has been moved, seconded, and is on the floor for discussion. Time limits of 3 minutes per person and 20 minutes per item shall be allowed according to board bylaws 922. And board members may ask questions for clarification purposes. However, no action may be taken and no discussion may take place on an item not on the posted agenda for the Brown Act. With that, do we have comments from ETA? CSCA?
Good evening. I'm Lisa Bigco, CFCA Vice President. I just wanted to take a moment to thank the district and the wonderful work you will be voting on. This is a support for the classified judge to. Thank you so very much. You have your vote.
Thank you very much. And also Cal. Any comments from the audience?
There are several comments from the audience. The first is Tennessee Lindsay.
Good evening, Lancaster School District. So I'm here on behalf of Council of the Contract. So we're here to let the community know that the data from the neighborhood legal services shows a serious racial disparity in school discipline. Black students are suspended at nearly 3 times the rate of white students and about 4 times the rate of Latino students, even for similar behavioral issues. Students with disabilities are showing currently at 16.1%, Latinos 5.5%, white students 5.7%. The actual rates being reported for the general population is 12.03%, 3.3% for Latinos, and 4.06% for the white students. These numbers suggest the discipline is not being applied equally. Black students are far more likely to face punishments, including informal removals, in school suspensions, and out of school suspensions, while white peers committing similar behaviors often do not face the same school consequences. The reports being provided by neighborhood legal services also raised serious concerns about students with disabilities. Black and Latino students in special educations are being suspended and punished at a higher rate, despite often needing additional academic supports and behavioral services rather than exclusion from the classroom. Even more troubling, the percentage of students identified with disabilities is twice as high as expected based on the school's demographic makeup. This is not just about discipline, it's about equity across and access to education and whether schools are providing support and pushing certain students out of the classroom. Guys reported about $24 million being spent in the school system. And I know as a grandparent, like she said, at Gigi, you take it very serious. Have special needs grandchildren that have to come into the school system and they're treated differently. And they're treated as if they're not understanding what's going on in these classes, whether it's kindergarten, first grade, second grade. All of a sudden they have a behavioral problem. All of a sudden they have to be sent home. All of a sudden they have to sit in a class where they're not interacting, getting those social skills that they need to interact and learn the things that they need, whether it's general education classes or their special need classes. So, what you guys are saying today is not actually true of what's actually happening in you guys' school district.
Okay, thank you. Next speaker is Aaliyah Ward, I believe.
My name is Rosalyn Ward. I'm the parent of Celia Ward. She's an 8th grader at Paiute Middle School. I'm here to report ongoing bullying, harassment, threats of violence, and multiple serious physical assaults involving my daughter, along with the failure to follow California educational codes 48900A1, 48900R, 32261, and 234.1. The bullying began in 2023 while my daughter was at Desert View Elementary. After multiple reports and what I believe to be insufficient interventions, she was forced to defend herself. To better protect her, I enrolled her in LAVA for the 7th grade. This year, she returned into in-person school at Paiute Elementary, and she's earned straight A's and a 4.0 GPA. She's also received strong recommendations for the SOAR Academy from multiple teachers. However, shortly after enrolling, the same bullying resumed and became more aggressive. On December 12th, 2025, several students, including the same students she had been prior involved with, came to my home intending to attack my daughter. I filed a police report and informed the vice principal, Ms. Hunter. The only solution that she offered me was independent study. I disregarded it because that would interfere with the required electives that my daughter takes. On February 3rd, I went to the school to speak with administrators regarding my concerns. Threats of violence and vulgar language were used towards my daughter by 3 other students during mediation with a counselor where they asked my daughter, why doesn't anyone like her? That was also supervised by Vice Principal Hunter. My visit resulted in verbal altercation and it didn't lead to any resolution. The only assistance I received that day came from Deputy Nurse in Mars, who advised me to contact the school board for further support. He also advised me that if I wanted to get a restraining order, that I needed to bring that information to the school, something that the principal could have told me. On February 6th, my daughter was assaulted by 6 or more students on school property. Prior to the attack, she reported it to a duty aide, and the students had threatened her and were following her around during lunch. Immediately after making the report, she was cornered and physically attacked. I wasn't allowed to talk to staff or ask about any accounts of what they had seen or what had happened. She required emergency medical treatment. Her injuries were documented with the police, and she was prescribed medication. She was excused from school for a week and she's now afraid to go back to school. Her GPA has dropped from a 4.0 to a 1.6. What is deeply concerning is that the students involved were not disciplined, and my daughter was recommended for detention. I'm asking for a full investigation and for you guys to involve yourself in better control. Thank you.
My name is Celia Ward, and I go to Pioneers. I am writing this because I need help. For a long time, I've been dealing with bullying, cyberbullying, and threats, and harassment. This has made it very hard for me and has hurt my feelings and my ability to focus on my work. When I have asked for help, I did not feel protected. I've been trying to do my best in school and stay out of trouble. I feel sad that some things on my record do not show what I have been really going through. I am asking if you do this my situation again and reconsider the blemishes on my record. I'm asking for help to help stop the bullying and the harassment and protection so I can feel safe at my school. Share a review of my incident on my record. I want to feel safe and do my best in school. I would be thankful for the chance to talk to you about this. Thank you.
Next speaker is Armani Bell.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Armani Bell. I am the guardian of Kasai Rocha, student at Paiute Middle School. I am here because my brother has been bullied and physically attacked at the school due to his sexual orientation. This was not normal conflict. This was discrimination that escalated into violence. In addition, our family has suffered devastating loss. We lost our mother on January 8th of this year. And during the time when compassion and understanding are critically important, my brother has instead experienced interactions with staff that have felt dismissive, rude, and hurtful. Schools have a responsibility not only to protect students physically, but also to foster a safe and supportive environment, especially for children navigating grief and trauma. Every student deserves to feel safe, respected, and treated with dignity. I ask the board to recognize the seriousness of this situation, ensure a full review of what occurred, address any failures, and take concrete steps to ensure that no student feels unsafe or unsupported in this district. This is about safety. This is about compassion. This is about protecting every student. Thank you for your time.
And the last one, I believe the last name is Israel. Can't make up. Sand Israel. We're done. Thank you for your input, and we will have staff follow up on that. And thank you very much for your input. We appreciate you speaking to the board. Okay, next we have consent agenda items superintendent from 17A to 17I. We have a motion. Okay. Second by Mr. Wynn. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? It carries 5-0. Item 18, consent agenda items, business items 18A to 18M. We have a motion. So moved. Moved by Mr. Wayne, second, Mrs. Carlson. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item 19, consent agenda items, educational services, items 19A, 19M. We have a motion. Moved by Mr. Giles. By Ms. Usler. Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Yeah, item 20, consent agenda items, human resource services. And on this one, we're pulling 20 C. We're approving A, just A. Yes, we're just voting or approving item A. Item B, C, and D have been pulled. So it's approval of personnel actions number 13. Have a motion. Moved by Mr. Wayne, second by Ms. Usler. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item 21, consent agenda items, student and family services. Item 21A, do we have a motion? Excuse me. Thank you. Discussion? A lot of input. Thank you for schools for all the work putting those together. Great plans. With that, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Item 22, legislative and policy discussion. Each week. And with that, we'll go to comments from the board. Superintendent, let's start with Mr. Wynn.
You just like to say it. It's nice to see our attendance went back up from last time. Not the same number, so I don't know what took place during the maybe it was vacation time. But it's good to see it go up. I'd like to thank Rosemary Napoleon for her information she provided us. And to all those that were promoted and or came up for new jobs within our district. It's good to see. Counselors, I didn't know we had 436 students, one counselor. That is awesome that they're doing the job they're doing. I know it's got to be a hard job, but it's good to see, like I said during the meeting, that the suicide prevention is working in our district. And it has a lot to do with their involvement. So thank you, and thank them, all of us.
Thank you, Mr. Wynn. Mr. Giles.
You know what Mr. Wynn said? I appreciated Rosemary's date on the inclusion journey with self. The Miller Choir, it was really nice to see the kids sing. I was kind of laughing. A couple of kids reminded me, they weren't hide behind the music, but hey, they were still singing. So we could see them from behind. So yeah, they were very cute. Nice to see the update on the school counseling program. Did a great job. All your counselors are top notch. LCAP, Mrs. Wood, it's good. What's going on with that? It's always good to be updated. Hard to believe how much money we throw at stuff. We did get some results. So, it's awesome. that, so we can look into some of the things going on. I can see what's going on there. It's sad when you hear even stuff, but middle school is tough. I know my kids have been bullied, and these are just stick with it to try to help them out. Yes, that all.
Thank you, Mr. Downs. Ms. Houston.
Thank you. It's good to see Rosemary. Very nice to hear that our special education special eds are making progress. I know we've been working on that for such a long time, and to actually see those really great results is wonderful. And the learning centers, and seeing the inclusion of our students, I think that's a great way that we've gone. Rebecca McConnell, I enjoyed seeing Miller up there singing, and really liked hearing about the K-8 environment. That is absolutely my favorite. I love middle school kids. That was always my favorite group. But K-8 is because those babies start with their and they go all the way through. That's the idea. And so you get a whole family within the school, and that's just such a wonderful way to really help especially our 6th, 7th, and 8th grades. I think sometimes you I love them when you put them all together in one place. Melissa, what? Thank you so much for the LCAP. I don't think I've seen you present yet, so that was really nice to see the presentation and get to hear what's going on with our LCAP. And again, seeing those raising test scores and seeing that our kids are doing better than they have been, and that's great. Counseling program, near and dear to my heart. Thank you, Trish, and thank you, Pam. It was wonderful to see our counselors and hear from them and hear all the wonderful things they're doing. And yes, if we could have like 4 counselors on every elementary school site, that would be awesome. Then we would have enough, really over 200 kids for counselors. That would be a really, really great number to shoot for. So thank you so much. I really enjoy hearing what they're doing out there. And I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Huesler. Ms. Thompson.
I'm simply going to echo everything since you in reference to Rosemary and Miller, Ms. Wilson, and Dr. Wood. Also, again, I also have concerns about our council to see if that, not to take away from the spectacular I hope. Also, congratulations to all the new staff as well as the promoting positions and things like that. I like to see the longevity. I like the fact that you guys believe in us and that you're sticking around to your choices within the district as well. Congratulations to all the Miller students. It's very hard to get up and sit up here, so for kids to stand up in front of roughly at the Sunday night, be able to sing, they respect. When it comes to bullying and concerns and our suspensions and things like that, we are always very concerned with those things. So thank you to the parents that came up here tonight to voice their opinion and their concerns about their students and the things that are taking place in our district. We do take that seriously. And so we will be looking into that to see how we deal with those situations. On a lighter note, if you had an opportunity to get out to our Black Knowledge Bowl last week, it was really spectacular. And if you didn't, they're going to have the final on February 25th here at Parkview starting at 5 o'clock. So if you haven't had an opportunity to get out, please do come out, as well as any of the other campuses that we have. A lot of things with Black history is taking place throughout the month. So I look forward to seeing you.
Thank you, Ms. Carlson. And Dr. Marietti.
Yeah, I'd just like to speak to the critique of our portion of suspension rate that was mentioned earlier. I just want everyone to know that we have our suspension. We cut it in half from 2023 school year to 2024 school year. We're going to continue to cut that number in half again for the 25-26 school year. I challenge that, challenge the numbers that were presented. I'd also like to say that our schools that were lowest performing in the state, we had 4 schools that were lowest performing in the state. Today we have 1. So we went from 4 to 1. So we saw our achievement rise. An additional targeted support, we had 4 schools and additional targeted support for low achievement, at least 1 subgroup. And that's been cut in half from 42. So what I would want to say is that I'm very, very proud. I think we should all be proud of the work that we've been engaged in over the past several years here. I think you saw a lot of that work presented here tonight. For those critics, I can only say and think of one thing, which is the speech Teddy Roosevelt gave in 1901. It's called the Man in the Arena speech. And what he said was, it's not the critic who counts. It's not those who point out how the strong will stumble or where the doers of deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to those who are actually in the arena. Those whose faces are marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strive valiantly, who err, who come up short again and again. Because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do these deeds? Who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spend themselves in worthy causes, who at best know in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if they fail, at least fail while daring to do greatly, so that their place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory or defeat. I want to thank all the Lancaster staff who are not critics, but are actually doing the work. All of you that are in the arena, striving every day for all our children, black, brown, white, all our children, striving so that they may have a chance in life, so that they may succeed. Those of you that are in the arena doing the work. And I appeal to all those naysayers, to all those critics out there, come join us. Come join us in the work. Come join us in the arena. Share in the work we do. There's always a place for you here in Lancaster School District.
Thank you, Dr. Marietti. And again, great presentations tonight. It's neat to see Miller, our K-8 school, as we moved some of our school sites to K-8. Neat to see the support from the parents and how that school system's working out and all the success we've had there. Also the LCAP, it's neat to see how we're setting our goals and funding our goals and working towards that. And again, like Dr. Marion mentioned, we had a lot of success in the state results that we got. So we're going to continue to strive for that. We're never stopping in our work, and we will continue to work for better test scores, more safety in our schools, and more community involvement. So we appreciate people that want to come out and help join us and help support us. We thank all the staff and parents for all your support too. And great work tonight. And with that, we will move to adjourn. 45. We have a motion. Motion. All in favor? Close. There's 5-0.